Hello, hello. We're back again with a new story. This time, it's a game called Roadwarden. It's a Decisions Matter RPG like game, and it's supposed to be really interesting. So, without further ado, we'll get back to the gaming. What I'm going to do right now is also pull up my Twitch management so that way I can make sure I can do everything that you all need from me. So that way I can take care of you the right way. But I'm really excited. It seems like a really interesting game. Oop, maybe. Maybe not. Zoinks. Here is I'm going to scrooge me right here. And so here we go, and we're going to get started. There are no roads under the moon. We're going to enter. One other thing we're going to do is I dig the music, but I'm not 100% sure that it's not copyright safe, but we'll raise the ambient volume. Perfect. All right. And so now we're going to go back. We're going to say a new game. Everyone knows to stay away from the wilderness. Most people would never risk a lonely journey. Road wardens not only accept the struggle, they embrace it. They deliver messages, assist merchants, burn human corpses, and if possible, get rid of the beasts and highwaymen. They live on the road, die young, or retire early. It's a dangerous job, but a respectable one, and it pays well. I leave the safety of the city walls. Let us see here. What do we select? Familiar with RPGs, restrictive for the returning wardens, 30-day time limit, increased nighttime damage. That's interesting. 40-day time limit, regular rule set. No time limit. More casual at the start. Some quests are more forgiving. I think we'll do casual because the people who would request me would want me to read very well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this light a little bit. It may look kind of weird, but with that light, it makes it hard for me to read. The wall is still standing. There are no wolves around. No stench of blood. Good signs. This should be the place you're looking for. You are supposed to meet with a group of soldiers, but you hear no voices, no sounds of labor. The gate is ajar, but the camp isn't safe. It may keep away the goblins and pebblers, but not beast folk, nor trolls, and the night is near. Your palfrey breathless breathes heavy. Let me retry that. Your palfrey breathes heavily. It had a long day. I could just look for another shelter. I need to look around cautiously. I dismount and sneak to the gate. Let's peek inside. I get off the horse and enter the camp briskly. We'll look around cautiously. Considering the noise, you doubt that anyone noticed the clatter of hooves. The short, dry grasses hardly cover. Sorry, this is bothering me. The arid soil of this valley, but you're maybe a minute away from the edge of the sparse woods, which get denser as they climb up the hills. At best, this trail has a few more years before getting overgrown for good. Hard to believe it's the only route north. I could just look for another shelter. I dismount and sneak to the gate. Let's peek inside. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. If you're hurt or exhausted, some actions won't be available to you. The weaker you are, the higher the chance you'll die in combat. Your heavy boots hit the ground, and the pain of the long ride finally catches up to you. You stretch out, bringing your back and legs comfort. All you want now is a table, a decent chair, a nice mug of beer, and some warm stew. With any luck, your axe won't be needed here. I approach the gate slowly. It's a military camp. It doesn't look the part. Plenty of wasted space. The fire pit is cold. 2 people are sitting at the table, tired and disheartened. They're looking in different directions, paying no attention to one another. One of them is holding a cup. After a moment, you notice the quiet humming. You recognize the melody of a light-hearted drinking song from the city harbor. I could just look for another shelter, or they don't look like much of a threat. I can enter. Sure, why not? It takes a few breaths to glance in your direction. The first person greets you with a wave of his hand. There are bags under his eyes. His beard is messy. Despite his simple shirt, he's wearing durable, decent boots. A mace with a head covered in iron hangs at the side, but he doesn't reach for it. I'll take a look at the second soul. Just like you, she's wearing a gambeson, but hers is a bit loose, as if she took it off a corpse. Her head is shaven, as if she's protecting herself from flesh-eating bugs. Her eyes are weary, yet kind. She smiles. Considering this sound was sent there, I'm sorry, it's really distracting. It's making it harder to read. We'll try to turn it down a little bit, see if that works. Considering the squad was sent here half a year ago, these 2 surely look the part, though there should be more of them. 8, you believe. I let them speak first. I asked them about their lieutenant. I let them speak first. It's nice to see an unharmed traveler in this godforsaken... Oh, man. Sorry, it's the text. It's hard to read. Godforsaken shithole. Makes me just a tiny bit hopeful. The bearded man's voice is strong, yet timid. You'll be staying the night with us, I guess? We're soldiers, he and I, adds the armored woman. Her moment switches from half asleep to relaxed. We'll do our best to keep the camp safe, but if you were to take the first watch, it would be a huge help. Travelers ought to help each other, wouldn't you say? You think for a moment. To fully rest, you'd need a good sleep. Sure, leave it to me. It's probably not gonna end well. Fantastic. She rubs her hands together. I don't remember the last time I had more than half a night of sleep. The hours before midnight should be the calmest. Just wake us up if anything happens. The man flashes a wide smile. It's easy to wake us up. Just yell. He drinks from his mug. I asked them about their lieutenant. You wonder how to phrase your question. Whenever you meet new people, you can influence how they perceive you by selecting one of the attitudes. Friendly, playful, distanced, intimidating, vulnerable. Let's be playful. I'm sure you were busy, so if you could just introduce me to your lieutenant. The armored soldier spares you a polite smile. Next time, better schedule a meeting. This place gets really crowded these days. She stands up, pays little attention to. I'm Wolfie. No, let's do Dark Wolfie. Dark Wolfie. Confirm. Her grasp is confident. The shake is slight. Just keep your horse away from the tents. She steps away. We don't need to smell its dung. Conquests in the south. They can trot for a long time, but won't outrun some of the local monsters. Your palfrey needs you to survive, but without it, you would be lost. It's my only companion here. I want it to feel at ease. I don't care how it feels, but I need it to be strong if I want it to travel, and I can't afford another one. I want it to feel at ease. It takes a few steps towards you, scolding you with another snort. You scratch the bottom of its neck with strength and confidence, just the way it likes it. Humans see useful animals, and even pets, as monsters in disguise. Getting emotionally attached to them is believed to lead humans to their doom. But you know that the horses need companionship. I speak to it gently and lead it to the camp. You end up next to the fire pit. Removing the saddle makes the horse. Makes a what? I think it's supposed to be snicker, but nicker with relief. You take a couple of minutes to examine its back, just in case. While the riding equipment is not heavy for such a strong animal, with enough time, it starts to chafe. You wish it had something better to eat than this shabby grass. You should look for an inn. I need to unpack. You haven't brought that many things, and you lost one of the sacks while fleeing the Crimson Corpse Eaters. Worst of all, you have no rope left. But maybe the soldiers could share one. Shouldn't cost more than a dragon bone. Aside from the travel set, you own a few valuable possessions, essential to your trade. Fighter, I spent my savings, my decent combat equipment. I have a fine gambeson, an axe made of steel, and a reliable crossbow with quarrels. Okay. I have talismans that help me use my powers as well as an iron axe and a worn gambeson. A scholar. I carry writing instruments and alchemical ingredients, as well as an iron axe, a worn gambeson, and a healing potion. I think this time we will choose, as well as an iron axe. We are a mage. We are a mage. Interesting. You unpack and inspect your belongings. Your water skin isn't pierced. The spare clothes are still here, just in case. You take a look at your wooden bowl and mug, your cape, tinderbox, bandages, food rations, knife, nothing special or too cumbersome. From time to time, your routine helps you avoid mistakes, but this doesn't make it any more exciting. What's in my inventory here? Merchandise, supplies. What do we got? food rations, merchandise, pouch with coins, a gambeson, magical amulets, travel set. Okay, so you take a look at your wooden bowl and mug, your cape, tinderbox, bandages. Oh, we just read this. A return to the soldiers. I just realized I have not been reading, so I apologize profusely, but that's okay. We don't need to go back. We can continue. Why not just stay at one of the settlements? The man clears his throat. I mean, we're to guard his road. This camp is our post. And well, he turns towards Tulia. She lowers her voice. Don't take it the wrong way, Dark Wolfie, but are you a devout soul? Excuse me. I'm going to take a sippy drink. You'll have to excuse me. This is more than I've talked in decades, so I'm sorry. Like most city folk, I believe that people should unite their strength to overcome the threats of nature and dark magic. Everyone will be judged for both good and evil deeds. I'm a part of the United Church. For many years, I've supported a monastery that does its best to advance mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and the magical research. I follow the teachings of the Order of Truth. That sounds like me. I'm from a small village. For me, the freedom of shell, pneuma, and soul are the main virtues of my life. My community is unique and independent, and so are its members. I have a place in my fellowship. I have a strong connection with nature and spirits, and follow the path of my ancestors. Some of my beliefs may be considered sinister and treacherous by city folk. You'd probably call me a pagan. There's no evidence of right's existence, and all the mystical tales are explained by magic. No, I'm not. I like the Order of Truth. Ah, the Order of Truth. Very interesting. Oh, I see. She hesitantly looks away. I don't know much about that river of faith, but I'm sure we're not that different. I'm a Unite myself, she says, with a sort of pride in her voice as she follows the United Church. Maybe just explain what you were thinking of. The people here are disquieting. Every few words she taps on the table with her finger. Their traditions won't help them negotiate with the officials here. She starts to draw lines with her index finger, as if she's pointing at an invisible map. The peninsula is connected with roads, like a big circle. In the northwest, you'll find a weird village at a bog. It's not exactly pagan, I don't think. It even has a priest who claims to be an eremite. You nod. She means a fellowship. They do crazy stuff, her companion chips in. They use the dead to cut down trees and dig in soil. Once I saw it, I begged to never return there. I see. What exactly am I pointing with? It looks almost like a dart or a mace. Oh, it's an upside down mace. That's interesting. You've heard tales such as this one since you were a child. If an isolated settlement manages to survive without a city's influence, its customs and traditions grow more and more alien. Every generation learns how to adapt to the dangerous conditions they have to deal with, and the rustic pagan traditions muddy the river of faith. The United Church often warns its members about the crazy druids, necromancers, and blood mages, the bringers of doom, the traitors to humankind. Were you able to speak with these necromancers? And how about the East? Any monsters worth mentioning? Anything that could catch my mount? That's all I need to know. Well, let's see. Were you able to speak with these necromancers? You can see why we were not eager to go there if we could avoid it. The lieutenant chuckles. Maybe they'll be more welcoming to a road warden. The roads are dangerous, with little to no shelters. People need your help. The man in the shirt turns a bit and points a finger to the northwest. If you're heading to the undead village, you'll get to an inn first, and soon. Tulia nods. Pelt of the North is a safe place. You can talk with the innkeep or guards. Ask them about the road. And how about the East? She stares off across the camp. Hard to tell. We went there only once. There are hills, forests, rivers. We saw a tunnel sculpted in leaves and branches, but we didn't enter it. Wilderness and all around. Oh, well, seems we have a new guest. Good eve, fair lady. I am playing that Roadwarden game. It seems pretty interesting. It's sort of a selection type game. Like some of the ones that we were talking about before. If my eyes were better, my voice were better, you know, it would be a lot more interesting. But hey, welcome in. She stares off to the camp. Hard to tell. We went there only once. There are hills, forests, rivers. We saw tunnels sculpted in leaves and branches, but we don't enter it. Wilderness all around. Any monsters worth mentioning? Anything that could catch my mount? That's all I need to know. Let's see. Is there any spooky boo monsters? We saw all sorts of beasts. The man starts to count on his fingers. Goblins, treants, cats large and small, runners, howlers, wolves, spiked boars, mouflon eaters, griffins, but we managed to stay away. Some could catch up with the most mounts. Tulia glances at her companion, though a palfrey should be fine. The trees are so tall that the flying creatures keep to the coast and mountains. There's not that many humans around, and the animals are busy fighting among themselves. They fight more for food than territory. The soldier cracks his knuckles. Don't provoke them and ride fast. Just count on luck. That's all I need to know. She nods. I'm afraid we can't do more for you. Any ideas of what happened to the previous road warden? Tulia takes a deep breath. Aren't you a bit late for a rescue mission? We haven't heard from him for almost half a year. The soldiers speak for a bit between themselves, trying to get their story straight. They confirm that he had stopped by their camp a few times, but stopped showing up at all in the early summer. The bearded soldier starts to scratch the table with the tip of his knife, without looking at you. I don't remember his voice. Always busy, drowning in things to take care of. He would sit somewhere, sharpen his sword, fix his loud mail, clean clothes, write notes on that wax tablet of his. Yep, and leave it dogged. Unlike us, Asterion never gets bored. Tulia lets out a joyless chuckle. He's secretive, but he's secretive, but some of the locals speak about him warmly. Maybe he just doesn't like us. Sounds like you're not sure if he's dead or not. If anyone knows, they won't tell us. Maybe someone is keeping him in a basement. The man carves with passion. We haven't seen him or his saurian. Something ate them, I bet. The officials have hired you, right? They don't expect him to return. Richer roadwardens often use four-legged man-eating saurians as their mounts. They have to be tamed and trained since they're hatching, but, unlike horses, can easily defend themselves from many monsters. At least your palfrey is fast and reliable, and won't suddenly sink its teeth into an innocent passerby. Do you know what he was looking for? Maybe he left you a message. Neither one of us had any insight into his dealings, says Tulia. My predecessor left me no clues. We also look at Asturian stuff. Wait! She raises her open palm. I almost forgot. She stands up and heads to the nearby tent. He has kids in a village in Havloven. I was planning to take all his things there. A pouch, a second spear, a decent bow, some potions, quite a treasure. She glances at you, but I would much prefer you to bring them the truth about their father. So you want me to find out what happened to him in exchange for his stuff? Here's the catch. She dusts off the hilt of her sword. We've hired a messenger to ask the commanders for further orders. Since she hasn't returned and you know nothing about her, she either ran away or something happened to her. She sighs with resignation. We are meant to stay here until fall. What do you think? Come see us, tell us what you've learned about the man, and we'll get back to Havloven together. You think about your real mission. You were planning to return to Havloven in the early fall anyway. If he's alive, I don't think he's going to be happy about taking away all of his possessions. If you excuse me, I may need to take just a quick moment's break, but I'll be right back. Make sure to defend my chat room from the other road wardens if you don't mind. I'll be right back, I promise. I've returned. Oh, funny your story. I was reading for like 5-10 minutes with no audio. Find that funny? I do. Wee. New streamer, ladies and gentlemen. Quality content. New streamer. Quality content. True, but he's considered dead. I doubt he'd begrudge you anything. And who knows, he may just find his shell lying on the roadside tomorrow. He wears mail, uses a spear, mostly. Maybe 5 feet tall but stout. Long red beard, short hair, pale face, rarely smiles. She glances at her companion, but after he adds nothing, she sits down and stretches out her legs. So find out what happened to him. Dead, alive, left. Just let me know. I've lost my rope. Could you spare one? You're in luck. She heads towards one of the crates and moves aside a large linen sack, revealing a rope. She brings it back and nonchalantly sits down on her chair. Take it. I was planning on leaving it behind. Planning to leave it behind. I take a closer look. Ah, a fine rope. Tulia nods. For now, you leave the rope on the table. Wait, did I take it? Oh, I did take it. Okay. I mean, like, I didn't have any money. What else? What happened to your squad? The man shrugs. Bandits happened, and monsters. A strong band, though. His companion chips in. When we got to the peninsula in spring, we saw some people living in this camp. The lieutenant decided to avoid it and look for an inn. We had to travel through the night for a bit. The bearded soldier scoffs and crosses his arms, but she carries on. If he hadn't decided otherwise, we would all have died that day. The innkeeper explained that the camp is a trap, that the armed ones pretend to be soldiers, stay there at night, lose everything you have. Sounds like slave hunters. Tully sighs. Very much so. They killed some, and took others away, who knows where. They were letting the northerners go, hoping to avoid their wrath. It kind of worked, adds the soldier. We asked them for help, but they refused. We had to clear the entire camp on our own, and that's why the 3 of our people died. Don't exaggerate, it's not like the lieutenant didn't make a mistake. He wanted to get rid of them and take over their camp, but we didn't know our enemy well enough. We were outnumbered, and they had an ice mage among them. She looks at you. At least we cleared the road, saved lives. You mentioned monsters as well? Nothing that would surprise you. Those of us who survived the skirmish were young, too inexperienced to spend a summer in this place without a good leader. And they didn't trust me. One of them got caught by a treant. Another one ignored my orders to perform some sort of ritual hunt. So a werebear tore her to pieces. The last one tried to act, though. Act tough. Didn't tell us that he had cut his hand while cleaning his gambeson. She let out a ghastly chuckle. We had to cut it off, and he was so ashamed that he decided to walk north, find a new life. Disappear. Idiot. What a colorful journey. The man tries to drink from his mug, but it's empty. I stay silent. You've made this place safer. Barely. Tulia seems tired, and who knows if it was worth the lives and effort. Tulia, how did you become a lieutenant? That's not much of a story, honestly. She looks at her hand, which is currently rolling a mug over the table. In the city, there's sort of a strict order. What should I call it? She exchanges looks with her companion, but he can't help her. Well, leadership succession, I guess. Havlavin chief selects commanders. Those select lieutenants, and those put their soldiers in order of priority. If a lieutenant dies, they get replaced by the next soldier in line. So you're his successor? No, not exactly. When we fought the bandits, our lieutenant was hit by a slingshot. His boyfriend jumped to help him, but failed to protect either of them from a spell. It was like a ball of ice that hung above them and exploded, piercing their heads, completely avoiding their shield. Really unpleasant. She pauses. And you were the third one in line, is that right? Jumping light to save them in the middle of attack doesn't sound like a wise decision. You were the third one in line, right? Basically, yeah, she says without enthusiasm. I didn't plan to become a leader, though. I'll get demoted once we return to the city. I prefer to follow anyway. What was your squad's mission? The lieutenant looks in your eyes. You know, the usual, making the road safe, keeping people alive. I explained that it may be important for me to know what they have tried to accomplish. Never mind. You can hear me? You can hear me? The audio? Is Musk Daddy being naughty boy? Oh, what more than a Musk Daddy? Musk Daddy. I've been a good boy. I can't really tell you. Let's just say it would be nice to have a reliable outpost somewhere nearby. A place where you can always find a group of fighters willing to protect you in the name of the law. She tilts her head back. Now, if you have any other questions, anything I should know about this camp? The story's brief. Some merchants built the camp to have an extra stop for mules and donkeys, just between inn and southern villages. There's plenty of grass here and a pond nearby. When the peninsula grew more dangerous, the camp stood abandoned, from time to time serving as a shelter for travelers. The bandits came here in spring, further paralyzing the exchange of information between the northern and southern settlements. Since these highwaymen are no more, the situation may reverse. Time will tell. You can sleep here whenever you want, the man concludes their tale, though don't expect to wake up without a pain in your back. If you were me, where would you go next? The soldier answers quickly. To the inn, of course. He grabs his empty mug. The one northwest of here. If you can't afford the room, the main hall is free of charge. The locals rarely gather there. The northern road is much more traveled, mentions Tulia, but the hunters will tell you about this and that, and you'll have a chance to introduce yourself. The innkeeper can listen and knows many souls. Any tips on how I can make a good first impression on him? She smirks. Avoid cheap jokes. Stick to the trade. Don't waste his time. Show him that you can be relied on. It's getting late. We should prepare for the night. I agree, Tulia sighs with relief. And may you do better than Asterion did. Stay vigilant. She winks at you, shattering the mask of a soldier. Ooh, thank you for your help. Ooh, dear. You go to the barrel and splash water on your face, which makes you even more aware of how much you need a bath. After the night, it will only get worse. Your horse is already napping, still too anxious to lay down. I prepare for my watch. The soldier in the shirt is eager to guide you. Just observe the area. There's plenty of griffins around, though they won't try to jump over the palisade. Probably. Better watch out for the apes. They climb up and carry out any food they can find. And there's one really loud were-elk that keeps smelling the wall, though it has never tried to get in. He points at a gate. The lieutenant and I will block the entrances. They're quite heavy. So if anyone comes here looking for shelter, better call us to help you out. And if someone is being chased by wolves or anything, better throw them the rope instead. He scratches his head. If it gets cold, feel free to make a fire. And the best place is on the watchtower. You may want to put on a blanket there or something. The watchtower? He gives you a long, puzzled look. Oh, here. He points at the pile of crates. Just climb up to the tallest one. You'll have a great view of the northern side, the more dangerous side. And also, I know you're tired after all that riding. He points to the tent on the other side of camp. I can handle a couple hours of sleeping on the ground if you wish. Go there after me and rest. Just this once. At least I have a pallet inside. I smile. Thanks a lot. You put your blanket on the tallest crate and sit down. The night is warm, but the sporadic summer breeze brings gentle refreshment. From time to time your back aches, and you have to force yourself to keep your eyes open. The light of the moon helps you focus on the tall grasses. For most of the time, you spot smaller critters and birds, but there are exceptions. At one point you see a three-horned deer trying to challenge one another. Before they clash their antlers, a two-legged dragonling appears, leading its much smaller offspring. The furry beasts try to intimidate predators with roars and aggressive head movements. After a few moments, both sides walk away slowly, not willing to risk the fight, nor to admit defeat. I don't let it distract me. I keep looking around. You hear the death screams of distant prey and the mating calls of monkeys. Runners are chasing a gray hare. A group of muskoxen lazily chew the grass, preparing themselves to sleep. A dusk fox is running together with a lynx, making playful screeches. Thankfully, you never have to intervene. You just sit there, watching the not-so-distant forest, trying to outlast your sleepiness. You can only guess how much time has passed. Once you feel you've had enough, you climb down and go to a tent, waking up the bearded man with just a couple of words. You confirm that nothing important has happened, and gather my things and squeeze into the tent. I use my bag as a pillow. I put my blanket on the pallet and cover myself with my cloak. Sleeping in a tent is not the stuff of dreams, but it's a much welcomed rest. The pallet keeps cold soil away. The moonlight saves the outside world from the eerie gloom. You listen to your own breath and find a comfortable position. Your job starts tomorrow. I focus on the real goal of my journey. The Merchant Guild wants to take control of this realm. Your wardening duties are secondary. First and foremost, you need to explore the peninsula, learn about the territory, resources, and threats. Get to know the locals, and if you can, convince them to consider negotiations with Hovlovan officials and traders. Could the tribes resist the soldiers or be a threat to the priests of the United Church? Are there any forbidden practices that need to be eradicated, such as blood magic, necromancy, robbery, or slavery? At least I have time. I need to be as thorough as I can. Once you finish your reconnaissance, you should speak with Tulia and return to Hovlovan. There you'll report back to your employer and get your reward. In the meantime, you have your own goal to pursue. Gather extra coins I care about. I need to gather some extra coins. If I gather enough connections with the local leaders, I'll use them to become a major player in the Merchant Guild. I want to be remembered as the soul who brought peace and order to this realm, a hero. I just want to help people, make this region safer for the locals and newcomers alike. I need to find a new life for myself. I have a difficult past. I want it to be forgotten. Nope, I like to help people. Your half-asleep senses are catching the sounds of a wild forest. Your instincts keep you alert and for joining the stream. But I think we'll continue this on another time and another place on another session. But hopefully you've enjoyed it so far like I have. It's been great. And thank you so much, Miss Jessie, for joining in on the mission, on the fun. But it seems like a very cool game so far. I kind of dig it. I dig it a lot. I dig it, man. Can you dig it? Yes, I can dig it. But I appreciate everyone tuning in, and I will catch you on the next stream. So, ta-ta for now, and don't forget to share with your friends whenever I come up next. And thank you for listening.